Welcome back, fellow adventurers, to the grand finale of Final Fantasy XIV. If you are tuning in for the first time, or simply need to dust off the memories of battles past, allow me to weave a recap of the aftermath of Sin Eater and Light Warning Crisis in the expansion known as Shadowbringer. These events, spanning patches 5.1 through 5.55, set the stage for the end of the Ascian saga, the fight that decided the fate of the world, and the origin of why the Ascian want to rejoin the world. When the Warrior of Darkness arrives at the Rising Stones, they meet with Tataru and Minfilla's mother, Philemon. During their tea, the Warrior of Darkness recounts their adventures on the first, discussing Minfilla's legacy and the new oracle, Rhine. The meeting is interrupted by Riol, who reports that he is unable to contact a helper and is heading to the Imperial border to get a better signal. Riol also mentions that Kryl needs to discuss something about the other Scions. It is revealed that the Scions' souls have been separated from their bodies for a long time, and the separation is starting to take a toll. Kryl has observed disruptions in their physical ether, with the Scions who were summoned first being the most affected. She and Master Meteion will work to keep the Scions' ether stable, but the Warrior of Darkness must speak with the X-Arc to find a way to return their friends' souls. Garaha believes he knows someone who can help, a reclusive Nomu named Becklug, who was once a foremost authority on soul magic in the Kingdom of Vobert. Becklug was once forced to perform horrific acts by a court mage and has since become wary of such affairs. However, the Scions' determination convinces her to hear them out. Becklug agrees that the White Auracite method has potential, but won't work with the souls in their current active state. The souls need to be put into a dormant stasis before they can be transferred. Elise compares this to the patients at the end of Journey's Head, which intrigues Becklug. Back at the Crystarium, the plan to return the Scion's souls has a new problem. Transferring the soul into Auracite would leave the person's psyche behind. Garaha Tia suggests a solution based on elegant techniques of memory transfer. The Warrior of Darkness returns to the source to update Kryl and Tataru. While they're talking, Estinian, who had been their helper, arrives. He reports that Zenos has returned, killed his father, and plunged Garlemald into civil war. He also notes that Zenos destroyed the remaining stashes of Black Rose.
Hey, you wanna see something cool?
Back at the Crystarium, the X-Arc is trying to convince the Guard not to quit and become Warriors of Light. A star shower erupts over the city, and everyone hears a voice telling them they are chosen to be Warriors of Light. Alphinaud confronts Elidibus, who admits to creating the star shower just as Hydaelyn does to get minions. Urianger realizes that the echo is not a gift from Hydaelyn, but a dormant fragment of an ancient's power that the star shower awakens. Atop the Crystal Tower, the Warrior of Darkness and Elidibus meet for a final time. Realizing Elidibus longs for his old companions, the warrior uses Azim's crystal to summon allies from across the rift. The two battle until Elidibus is defeated. Garaha appears and casts a spell that absorbs Elidibus' body and soul into the tower, leaving behind an ancient child, Elidibus' true form. The child talks about his friends and wanting to become like Azim before vanishing into the tower. Garaha continues to turn into a crystal and asks the warrior for one final favor: to join them on their next journey. The warrior agrees, and Garaha transfers his soul into a spirit vessel before turning into a crystal statue.
the Exarch would remain, keeping his silent vigil. When the Scions were not released from his summoning spell, we proceeded with the plan to return them to the source. The Warrior of Darkness, however, retained her ability to traverse the two worlds at will. And in time, the Crystal Tower became a symbol of her link to the First, and of hope.
With the matter of Elidibus closed, the Scions prepare to go home. The warrior takes the Exarch's spirit vessel on a tour to say farewell to their friends in Norvrond. They reunited the Crystarium, where the Scions transfer their souls into the spirit vessels, and the warrior takes them back to the source. The warrior delivers the vessels to Kryal and Tataru, who awaken the Scions. The Scions offer the newly awakened Garahatia a proper place within the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, which he wholeheartedly accepts. Meanwhile, in Garlemald, a white-robed Ossian, who reveals his name as Fandaniel, tells Zenos he is free to do as he wishes now that Elidibus is dead. Suddenly, dark towers appear across Zoria. Fandaniel appears over Alamahigo with the lunar Bahamut and announces that the towers are part of his plan to recreate the final days. He explains that he is only a sundered Ossian who seeks to die and take everyone with him. He tells the Warrior of Light that Zenos awaits in the heart of chaos for a final conflict. The Scions join the Azorian Alliance at Cardinal Flats to fight the Telophoroi. They face off against the lunar primals and succeed in protecting the key ethereal points. Fandaniel teleports away, acknowledging the delay, but confident in his other schemes. Back at the Rising Stones, the Alliance and Scions agree the Alliance will push back the Telophoroi, while the Scions focus on disabling Fandaniel's towers. The Scions begin to discover that the ether currents are being redirected and weakened near the towers, leading them to realize the towers are drawing ether from the planet itself. The Warrior of Light hears an echoing voice and sees a woman in glowing white, who warns of the coming end and vanishes. After regrouping in Limpsa Lominsa and knowing the answer lies on Sharlayan, Kryal had secured a passage to Sharlayan, and the Scions depart. On the ship, the Warrior of Light is roused by the same mysterious voice. The woman, revealed to be a visage of Hydaelyn, confirms she is a primal and is growing weaker as her counterpart, Zodiark, regains strength. She tells the warrior she believes they are ready for what is to come, before vanishing. In Sharlayan, the Scions are given a tour and then convene to discuss their two main concerns, the Forum's secrecy and the Telophoroi towers. They split into two groups. One travel to Thavnair to investigate a lead on warding talismans, and the other to investigate the Forum in Sharlayan. Kryal, however, is becoming disoriented as they descend. She becomes a willing host for Hydaelyn, who offers the warrior a flower called the Heartbloom and tells him to use it for guidance. The Forum, including Forshano, confronts and arrests the Scions. At the trial, Garaha reveals that he discovered a change in the Forum's mission, which occurred when they were researching the Ethereal Sea. The Forum, however, restricts the Scions from acting on Sharlayan grounds. After the disaster during their investigation at Sharlayan, the group decided to head to Thavnair. Thavnair group arrives and learns that the local ruler, the Satrap, has a pact with the dragon who provides scales to create warding talismans against the tower's mind control. They aid the alchemist in creating a talisman and test it at the Tower of Zot. The test is a success, but Fandaniel appears and kidnaps the lead alchemist Nidana. Inside the tower, the Warrior of Light confronts Fandaniel, who reveals his former life as a scientist named Amon from the Alagun Empire. Amon, in an effort to entertain the bored populace, cloned and resurrected Emperor Jande. He later accepted Emmet Selk's offer to become Fandaniel. The group meets with the Satrap at Razed Han, but Estinian senses the true leader behind the curtain. The Satrap reveals himself to be Verta, a great Wyrm and brother to Tiamat and Bahamut. He besieges the Scions to destroy the tower and free his people. With their hands tied, the Scions decide to take on the Tower of Zot. They successfully defeat the Magus sisters and destroy the tower's core, which is powered by a human limb. Back in Sharlayan, the Scions relax and prepare for the next step. They meet with Scholar Gmatishen, who explains that the Forum members are enchanted to prevent them from revealing the secret of their sacred duty. The Scions pledge their support to the Azorian Alliance's plan to enter Garlemald and aid the people. The operation begins, and the Scions and allies infiltrate the frozen lands of Garlemald. They learn that the 1st and 3rd Legions, once at war, are now united under the banner of Tempering. The Warrior of Light and the twins are tasked with finding the survivors. Lucia and Maxima explained that the Civil War was fueled by Elidibus and Fandaniel, and the tempering was triggered by an earthquake and a terrible roar. They meet an untempered Imperial soldier named Julius, who agrees to take them to his commander, Lord Quintus Van Cinna, the legatus of the 1st Battalion. Quintus is distrustful and has the twins arrested, fitted with shock collars, and kept as prisoners. He sends Julius and the warrior back to Camp Broken Glass with his demands. At Camp Broken Glass, Lucia reveals that Thancred's scouts have already freed the twins and removed their collars. Suddenly, a roar echoes from the Tower of Babel, and the late Emperor Varys' voice is heard on the radio. Fandaniel, disguised as a Lominsan soldier, steals the Warrior of Light away. The warrior awakens in a horrific room, trapped in the body of a random Garlean infantry soldier. Fandaniel explains that the tempering was caused by the people's prayers to the late Emperor Varys, who was channeled to create a primal monstrosity named Anima. Fandaniel used the Emperor's body to build the cores of the towers, which draw aether from the Tower of Babel. Zenos, in the Warrior of Light's body, appears and challenges them, stating that he wants to see if their true skill lies in the flesh or the soul. Fandaniel fires the tower's ether at the moon, destroying most of the seals on Zodiark's prison. He then activates a teleporter to the moon to destroy the last seal in person. Zenos reveals he sent a final command through Anima for its tempered thralls to commit suicide missions throughout the city. The Warrior of Light decides to split the group and follow the Ashian themselves. Hydaelyn directs the warrior to someone on the moon who can help. The warrior meets a spirit, the Watcher, who is charged with guarding Zodiark's prison. The warrior explains that the prison was a place of stasis for the soul sacrificed to create Zodiark, and that something has destroyed most of the giant blade locks. Hythlodaeus appears and promises to keep the souls at bay while the warrior defends the wards. Fandaniel throws himself into the core where Zodiark resides, becoming its new heart.
The marvels of circuits were but playthings. At last, I am become Zodiark. All in existence, bent to my will.
The warrior battles Zodiark and stands victorious. Fandaniel, from within the primal, congratulates the warrior and forces Zodiark to rip its own chest and kill itself. As the primal dissolves, Fandaniel welcomes the warrior to the final days, stating that his goal was always to kill Zodiark. The Warrior of Light is back on the moon's surface and hears a creepy woman's voice before witnessing a vision of the world above eroding into darkness. The Watcher explains that this is a vision of the coming final days, which were caused by an unknown roar from the depths of the planet that caused the creation magic of the ancients to bring forth monsters of despair. They explain that the final days will occur wherever the celestial ether has grown stagnant. Urianger realizes this is why the Convocation summons Zodiark, a god of darkness and change, to stop the ethereal stagnation. The Watcher then reveals that Hydaelyn's contingency plan was to turn the moon into a celestial ark to carry the people of Aetheris to a new home. The Scions meet with Livingway, a Loporit, who explains that the plan to evacuate everyone to the moon was created by Venat, Hydaelyn's original name. The Loporits plan to load up everything they can from the doomed world and launch the moon to find a new home. They are woefully unprepared for the population of modern Aetheris and decide to keep the Scions on the moon. Urianger decides to stay with the Loporits to help prepare the moon as a last resort. Back planetside, the Scions return to find the towers have vanished and their prisoners are being helped. They learn that the Forum is holding a public meeting to announce the truth of their sacred duty. They state they made contact with Hydaelyn and were warned of the coming apocalypse and that they have been working with her representatives on the moon to prepare for a grand exodus. Forchano disowns his children once more, but others sense his underlying pride. The final days begin in Thavnair, with a blasphemy that transforms the people of Thavnair into monsters with no aether. The Scions learn that negative emotions, like despair and hopelessness, seem to be the instigator of the transformations. A chain transformation is set off, and the satrap, Awan, sacrifices himself to save a man. Vitra, the true satrap, reveals himself to the people to a surprisingly welcome reaction. Henestinian smiles, knowing that Isel would be pleased. With no other leads, the Scions decide to visit Elidibus, whose Aether is trapped in the Crystal Tower. The warrior activates a projection of Elidibus, who tells him that Elpis is not a flower, but a place, a testing facility for new life forms overseen by Hermes, who would eventually rise to the seat of Fandaniel. Elidibus opens a passage to the ancient world, and sends the warrior on their way. They also meet Hermes and a young girl named Meteion, who has the ability to read and project emotions. They learn that Hermes is being considered for the seat of Fandaniel and is upset that his mentor is returning to the star, or dying. The warrior learns that Hermes created Meteion and her sisters to travel across the stars to find out what other civilizations live for. After a disturbing incident with violent creations, the group finds a patch of Elpis flowers, which Hermes explains are entelechy that can detect dynamis, an energy of emotion. Hermes wonders if dynamis could break through the ether of a star. He also reveals he created Meteion to travel using dynamis. The Warrior of Light and Venat, the former holder of the Seat of Azim, discover that Meteion's sisters have been reporting back with news of dead worlds. They confront Hermes, who confirms that the final days sound a lot like dynamis phenomenon, and that the threat is coming from beyond the star. Meteion reveals that every world her sisters visited either died by war, sacrifice, or suicide, and their conclusion is that as long as life exists, it will only suffer. They plan to end everything by singing a song of despair. Hermes agrees and sets up a wager. If mankind can learn to value all life and still want to live on, they shall be spared. Otherwise, they will all perish. Hermes uses a device called Kairos to erase his, Emet-Selch's, Hydaelyn's, Venat's, and the Warrior of Light's memories before they arrived in Elpis. However, Emet-Selch and Hydaelyn's trick Hermes into creating an escape for Venat and the Warrior of Light. They leave before their memories are wiped, leaving them to know the truth of Meteion and Hermes' challenge. The Warrior of Light arrives in the present and finds that the final days have come to Garlemald. The Scions, along with Julius and his squadron, push back the blasphemies until the refugees can retreat to safety. Zenos appears wanting to challenge the warrior, but the warrior is distracted as they are committed to saving the world, leaving Zenos behind. Thus, the remnant of Garlemald's army declares Zenos as a traitor to their people for assassinating Emperor Varus and ignites civil war in Garlemald. The Warrior of Light shares what they have learned in the past, and the Scions have a new target, Meteion. The form explains their plan to extract knowledge from the world and transport everything to the moon on a spacefaring vessel. Alpha now offers to help improve the vessel in exchange for access to the ethereal sea to contact Hydaelyn. The Scions and their allies from across the world gather supplies and improve the vessel. Fortuno breaks into tears and embraces his children, admitting that he is proud of them and that they have earned the right to forge their own paths. The Scions approach the Mother Crystal to meet Hydaelyn herself. Hydaelyn warns them that Meteion dwells at the end of the universe in a domain of pure dynamis, and wields the dread and despair of countless dead worlds. She gently reassures them that darkness exists in all life and must be overcome. Hydaelyn challenges the Scions to a battle, which they win, proving that mankind no longer needs her.
We're near or far. And now this. Or fly, my children, and never look back.
She gives the Scions a crystal containing the path Meteion took and imbues the crystal of Azem with the last of her power, giving the warrior temporary power over stasis, peace, and tranquility. Hydaelyn finally rests. The Scions prepare to travel to Ultima Thule, the furthest point in the universe.
Welcome to the bridge, everyone! I hope you have everything, because I can't be bothered turning back.
If you all insist.
Onward unto the distant stars and beyond. Ragnarok, engage!
may serve also to thrust forth with vigor. Such is thy glory, and thus it is an occasion to rejoice. So come, let us revel!
So long as the wind blows freely, I suppose all is as it should be in creation. I will render unto them a storm, that they may pierce the firmament and fly free!
The Ragnarok is launched and fueled by primals, who fuse with the engines to propel the ship to its destination. They arrive in Ultima Thule, a realm of pure dynamis, where emotions dictate reality. They travel through the memory of a dead world, and meet with a group of dragons who choose to do nothing to remove themselves from the cycle of the conflict. Estinian challenges this belief, and vanishes after bearing the despair of dragon kind. The group then meets Ea, beings who abandon their physical forms to find happiness. They explain that they learned a fundamental truth of the universe. The universe will eventually end in an eternal ice age, so attempting to accomplish anything is pointless. Yishtala and Urianger refuses to live in ignorance, and vanishes in a cloud of dark dynamis after a debate with the Aya. The remaining Scions meet the Omicrons, intelligent machines who constantly seek to improve themselves through conflict. They find their commanding unit, Sir, who has stopped giving orders after pondering what would happen if they became so powerful they had no equals. Gra'aha helps Sir by sharing a tale of a world on the brink of nothingness, and Sir vanishes, leaving a crystal path behind. Now, only the Warrior of Light and the twins remain. They reach the next island, a remnant of an empty world. The twins realize they can help the warrior proceed. They tell Meteion they will not be afraid to get up and try again, and they are consumed by a fog of dark dynamis. At the pinnacle of Ultima Thule, the Warrior of Light faces Meteion alone. The warrior uses the Crystal of Azem to summon Emet-Selch and Hythlodius, who create a field of pure white Elpis flowers beaming with hope. Meteion, overcome by this, falls to her knees. The warrior then uses Hydaelyn's magic to reform the Scions. A sphere of liquid dynamis erupts from Meteion's nest, and the original Meteion begs the warrior to end the song of suffering before vanishing. The Scions are dragged from memory to memory, but remain undaunted. Meteion fuses with her sisters to become the Endsinger, and in a brutal battle, she throws the entire world at the Scions. In a desperate moment, the warrior throws her teleportation device, and the Scions are safely teleported back to the Ragnarok. The Warrior of Light, now alone with the Endsinger, is joined by Zenos, who is clad in the guise of Shinryu. The two fight the Endsinger, and the Scions' prayers fill the dynamic sea with hope, allowing the warrior to ride it to victory.
I care not. What I desire of you isn't succor, it is satisfaction. So come! Let us dispense with this distraction, you and I!
You struggle in vain. You will not silence our song of oblivion. The deliverance you seek.
Ends this day. There is nowhere you can flee that we cannot follow.
Even Sard must die. There is only one place it may be found. What is this defiance? Now, the hatred, the pain, the loss. We cannot suffer it again.
We will stand against fate!
No matter the cost!
We've been here before. Many a time.
Thus do we know.
To never give up.
Hope will shine again!
What I saw. What is it? Where lies
In the aftermath, the warrior takes the original Meteion's hand, and she is flooded with emotions from the warrior's journeys. She realizes there is no single answer to Hermes' question, and promises to sing a new song of hope to spur life back to the desolate worlds.
Miracles happen every day. Do they not? I will create a path back to your ship, where your dear friends await. Hold in your heart your desire to return to them, then follow my lead and walk forth. That hope will surely guide you true.
Finally, the Warrior of Light and Zenos face each other.
You mean to return to the world where you are hailed as a hero. Hear me then. Not as a hero, but as simply you. But there is more to you than that. You know this to be true. As surely as you know the thrill of pushing your body and soul to their limits. Of confronting ever mightier foes, dancing ever closer to the precipice, wondering if this will be the one to finally fill the void. Such pleasures you seek for their own sake, and no other reason. Is this not so, adventurer? Ha! Finally mustered the desire to kill me, have you? Go on then. Try and strike me down in this forsaken place. I shall return the favor. Let us indulge in the only worthwhile pursuit and burn our lives to their end.
That is cheating. And why do we have to use punch? He has his weapon there on his back actually. This is very anime-ish.
They engage in one last glorious battle, running on fumes until they both collapse. Zenos asks the warrior if they ever found the satisfaction they sought before they both close their eyes. A small device, the teleporter button, falls from the sky and teleports the warrior of light back to the Ragnarok, leaving Zenos behind. The Scions are safe and well, and the Ragnarok returns to Eorzea with a triumphant welcome. The group decides to publicly dismantle the Scions of the Seventh Dawn and turn the defense of the realm over to the Grand Company of Eorzea. They will continue to work together in a clandestine capacity, while each member goes their separate way. The Warrior of Light looks up and smiles, ready for their next adventure.
Quite right.
Indeed. Fair point. So, what's next for our humble adventurer?
And that concludes the events of the Warrior of Light's journey throughout the beginning to the end of the journey. It's been a long journey, from the unnamed adventurer to the savior of the world. Even though there is no more threat nor Ascian problem, the Warrior of Light is not resting, as the new adventure awaits for them. Thanks for watching, and may you ever walk in the light of the crystal.